Welcome back to the boot camp. Today, I want to take a look at applying some of the things that I have covered. But first of all, I want to express some gratitude to everyone. Thank you so much for holding space and allowing me to share some of my thoughts and feelings about the current moment. Like I said, things have been heavy. Find ways to connect to others, find the humanity in the situation you're in, and use your creativity and critical thinking to really consider the narratives and stories that you yourself have adopted over time, because a fresh perspective sometimes is what we need. Speaking of perspective, we're going to jump right back into it. I have with me here today my book, The Perspective Drawing Guide. And if you haven't checked it out before, check it out. I appreciate it. It should be available at major retailers. Now, I mentioned the book because a lot of the concepts that I'm going over here in this new series I actually cover in the book. And so the book is a good companion to the things we're talking about. Today, I want to touch on an idea that I present in a book called Silhouette, Style, and Substance. All right. So, the silhouette of an object refers to the positive and negative space as the object presents itself. So, here I have this glue gun from Hoto or Hato, right? And it has a silhouette, it has a profile, and this profile separates the outside of the object from the inside, right? And as I rotate the object, you can see that that silhouette changes, right? Now we can see on the back, that's where you put the glue stick, and it has a certain color and a part break. We have the trigger here, the nozzle, and so forth. And so depending on how you look at an object, the silhouette will change. The substance of the object, as I alluded to without mentioning, has to do with things like the part lines, material changes, and the style related to the object might have to do with things like the material. So, a rubber, plastic, that kind of thing. If you have one of these, it's a really great tool. I'll try and put a link in the description if you're interested. It's a battery operated glue gun. It's really wonderful. All right. So, shape, silhouette. Oh, wait. Silhouette, style, and substance, not shape. Silhouette, style, and substance are the three. And I coined that phrase because I was taught similarly, but I wanted to kind of build on that. And I do want to acknowledge my college professor, him teaching me the concept of form, divide, beautify. It's similar, but I wanted to kind of speak to it in a more, just a little higher level perspective, so that whether you're sketching or designing something, this concept would apply in terms of how you compose your objects. Now, so far, we've covered using a cube to draw anything, sketching light until you get it right, as well as when in doubt, rough it out. All right, you can use overlays, you can use marker, you could even use a light ballpoint pen if you want to kind of put down your initial lines and then figure out what you're sketching. But today, let's take a look at a bit more analysis. All right. So, first things first, I have this camera here. This is an old camera of mine, the Sony A6400. And as you can see, the body of the camera is made up of, I would say, this main portion here. We have our shutter button and a few other wheels, knobs, and so forth. But if you look at the general composition of this camera, right, you can see right here we have the body and we have the lens. Those are kind of the main parts of this object. And you can apply this technique to a variety of different things, whether it's a vehicle or a house, whatever it is you're trying to analyze and understand. All right, so let me actually bring this back here. And I have with me a little prop that I came up with to help me teach sketching as I do my workshops and as I teach at offsite. Something new that maybe some of you don't know about, but I teach a drawing class called Sketching 2, where we do markers and hands-on pen sketching, all sorts of stuff, learning how to do textures and so forth. So if you're interested, leave a comment as well. But I have this object because it's kind of a simplification, right, of the camera itself. And by simplifying the camera, I can see here, for example, this is a cylinder, right? It attaches with magnets. Cylinder right there, and I have half a cylinder for the grip where the shutter button is. I like to do this, whether it's a cylinder or I could look at this and say, well, it's more rectilinear, like an elongated cube. It allows me to simplify the process of sketching so that I can think of these objects in 2 dimensions as well as 3 dimensions. So I'm going to start with 2 dimensions here, looking at the front of the camera, right? We have a grip right here. That's my grip. And this is where the lens would go. Remember to warm up so that you can draw your circles and whatever else you have to do. And then the other details would be a part of the camera, whether it's a shutter button here or we're trying to show some other detail on the camera. Maybe it's the lens release. Even as I do this front view sketch, I'm trying to keep it simple. Next, we can do a side view sketch, and please recognize that as I'm doing this, even I make mistakes, right? So this line should be more vertical, so I corrected it as I went. We can fix a lot of that stuff with line weights, which I'll touch on a little bit later. So if I draw this from the side now, this gives me a chance, whether it's left or right, to kind of decide, all right, how deep is this portion of the camera? How deep is the grip of the camera, right? Because the body itself might go to there. Kind of like on this camera, you can see the body is narrower than the entire grip. All right, now I'm not copying this exact camera, but rather just showing you kind of a basic setup here. So maybe this is my shutter button. Interestingly enough, as I drew this first shutter button, I made it too wide. So you can kind of go back and forth between sketches if you're doing it this way, where you're sketching a front and a side view. And I'm just going to project, which means extend these lines across now, and then decide how long I want this lens to be. Or perhaps it's tapered like this. Whatever the case may be, you as a designer get to decide, right? You can throw hatch lines on or whatever. This is just kind of analyzing the form and what you want to sketch. So looking at this mask now, we can use our techniques. For example, if I know, or if I look at this rather, and I divide the back of the camera down the middle, I could look at this as being a series of cubes connected. So if we split in the middle here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's say 8 cubes, right? Or if you wanted to, you could think of the body of the camera as being half a cube. It might be a little easier because if I have a bigger square, right, take this distance, put it here. If I have a bigger square, all I have to do is sketch 1, 2. So let's try that. Let's try sketching 2 cubes. All right. So I'm going to start with a line like this that goes to my vanishing point, and then one that goes this way. As the illustrator, designer, sketcher, you get the opportunity to decide the angles of these lines and the perspective you want to sketch in. So this is something entirely you will have to decide for yourself as you're drawing a camera if you're trying to draw this. Now, here's my next line. All right, this is going to vanishing point 3, for example. This would go to VP 1 and then VP 2. In my book, I have exercises that will help you sharpen up your perspective. I don't know the exact page here. Maybe I'm lucky. Oh, there it is. I did not mark this page, I'm telling you. But this exercise is called fanning lines. All right, it's on page 58. So if you're interested in practicing, right, it's to help you set up the skills to help you draw your lines so that they appear to converge at a common point. And the more experience you have, you'll be able to take this concept and apply it to your perspective cubes. So if you want to get faster at that, check out my book, page 58, Fanning Lines. That was honestly lucky. I did not mark that page. I have a different page marked, but not that one. All right. So the next I'm going to sketch over now. Let's go something like this. So if this is my cube, right? This line right here is the side of my cube. Then I can mark 1, maybe something here. I'm just kind of guesstimating how big this cube is. So I might start here. And then we can take the concept of multiplying a cube, which we already did, to get the exact distance this way on the line to where the front of the camera would be. All right, so I'm going to go from point A here through to where it intersects my line in the front. Switching to red so you can kind of see what I mean. All right, so there's my point. So proportionally, okay, if my camera body is 2 cubes wide, I would go with this distance, and now I'm paying attention to this line here and this line as they should appear to converge at a similar point. So now I just slightly change this angle, maybe do something like that, and this is where my other cube would be. The idea being these three lines appear to converge as much as this line, and let's actually tweak this slightly. This line here appear to converge. Now, I know this is the halfway point, going back, maybe actually a little bit more like that. So I can just draw through, and this would give me the depth of my camera going back, all right? So 2 cubes wide, okay, this way. And I'm going to say, I'm going to cheat a little bit and say this is half a cube, or maybe a third of the way in. In any case, I could either use the front or the back. It just depends on what you want. I've picked, meaning I could use this row, okay, of rectangles in perspective, or this one in the back. I'm going to use the one in the front here. So let's go down like so. And if it helps you, you can sketch this line down as well. And then from this side, I'm going to sketch this line down. All right. So here I'm sketching in the body of my camera, accurate to proportion. So now I want to think about, well, if this is the top edge of a cube, right? If I were to have a cube sketch, maybe I have the height of the cube here, right? And that's to make sure that we have the proportion at least. So I have a point somewhere here, and now I'm going to sketch over like so, and make sure these intersect, which gives me a point. And I like to draw through, particularly if I'm just figuring out an object, all right? And then we can sketch down like that, and then over. And now I have 2 rectangles in perspective, but really the side of a cube here that I've split into half and half. All right. So you can continue to apply this principle. As I look at the front of the camera, for example, if this is the whole length and I split this in 2, halfway here, it looks like it kind of lines up with the Sony logo. All right. So I'm trying to just search out and find proportions. Let's see if this is a third of the way in. 1, 2. The center of the lens is about a third of the way in. Now, there is an actual way to figure out the third, or rather figure out lengthwise in perspective where a third is, but I'm just kind of eyeballing. That just means, I'll just write this down, eyeball. All right, I'm just kind of guessing where that is, just proportionally. Now remember, in perspective, things closer to you appear wider. So if I look at this segment, it's wider than this one, which is wider than that one, right? So that's how I intuitively can split that space. So the center of the lens is about here. All right, and it's centered on the body. So that's the center of my lens. Now, if you recall, okay, I've done this on the channel before. You can sketch an ellipse, all right, inside of a square on perspective by just drawing the diagonals like that, splitting the difference this way. And if you mark roughly a third of the way in, as well as where these lines cross, all right, so we have 8 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one is approximately 1/3 of the way in. It's not exactly 1/3 of the way in, but approximately. You should be able to draw an ellipse, all right, in perspective. So if you find it helpful to do this method, we can just draw a square in here. The center of my square is about here, right? So I'm just placing a square on this face. And as I divide the square now, you can see I have my setup, all right? If I draw an ellipse here, I'm skipping ahead, not actually marking these points, but if you want to mark them, you can. This is how I get an ellipse on the face, all right? So we have the back of the camera. If I hide this, there's the back of the camera. So now all I have to do is sketch a grip. Now for this demo, I'm not going to go through all the steps of refining, but more so talking about applying this concept of multiplying a cube, breaking things up, and focusing on the silhouette, the substance, and applying some style. So one way to do this is you could kind of just guesstimate. Like I said, I'm going to simplify the grip and treat it just like a rectangular shape. I'm drawing through here. This line, this line, this line, and all these lines should appear to converge to the same vanishing point. So see how the distance between these lines as I extend them. See how this distance here is smaller at A versus B, right? So because A is smaller than B, that's showing that these converge to a common point. So now I have this little box on the bottom. I can sketch up. I'm going to rotate my paper so you can see this. Sketch up like so, up again like so, right? And these vertical lines, because I'm sketching in 3-point perspective, should appear to converge. Now, this might look a little technical and messy, but this is really how I think through complex form. And the more intuitive this becomes, the more you understand the frame and the underlying structure of things, it makes it easier to sketch. We can extend forward here, and from this point, we can go back like so. So now I'm going to just make these lines a little bit thicker so you can kind of see, boom, boom, boom. There I have the outline of what my camera body would be, where my lens would be located. And if I want to, we can extend out like so. I can draw another ellipse. More on this later. Give you some details on how to do this. And if I connect now my two ellipses, I have a camera lens. All right. So this is how I go from a two-dimensional drawing. If you really wanted to, you could even treat this the same way we did with the cube to get the correct measurement. But if you're just quickly sketching, this is one way to maybe even familiarize yourself with the parts and pieces of something that's a bit more complicated. And as you keep going, you can modify the shape. I notice my camera, for example, has a viewfinder here. So I could leverage the lines that I sketched in before to even sketch in and suggest a viewfinder. If I make this a little bit taller, for example, go over and down. Now I have the structure, all right, for where I would put the viewfinder. And as far as ellipses go, if you offset and sketch in an ellipse slightly on the inside, even here being tangent, right, then I create the impression that this glass on the inside kind of recedes, all right? And hopefully you can kind of see this coming together. We can draw some more ellipses. 1, 2, 3. These would become my control wheels. We can split the top, right, where there's a part line. Even come down the side. And if you want to, introduce some shape to this, doing things like sketching a curve here on the bottom plane and then a curve on the top, right, allows me to then have a situation where I can even shape out the grip for the camera, maybe even something like that. So there's a bit of a logical flow and structure to how this would go. I didn't intend for that to rhyme, but this is kind of the foundation of how you would take a look at something like a camera, break it into simpler parts, and sketch these simpler parts in a way that helps you understand how to be better at drawing. And the same applies as well for this glue gun. Well, I appreciate you hanging out with me today. Hopefully it was entertaining and engaging. Thank you again as well for creating space for me to share some of my thoughts and opinions. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, leave them in the comments below. I have been taking notes. For example, there was a comment on shadows on vertical surfaces, so I'm going to take a look at that as well. But if you have any specific questions related to the fundamentals in drawing as we go through this bootcamp experience, do let me know. My name is Spencer again. I don't know if I mentioned that at the beginning, but I am working. I hate doing this part of the show, but I'm working towards getting the capability to record in real 4K. I know this video might say 4K, but I would like to acquire a capture device to allow me to collect all the video. It's like a little card that I can pair with my computer, and it will capture the video in 4K so that when I edit and put this together, you'll have crystal clear view of what I'm doing as I'm sketching. So how can you help me? Buy my book. You can make donations. My links should be in the description of the video. And of course, share the video. Very, very helpful. But I'm working towards that goal. And full disclosure, it's about $500. So I would like for this to build on itself and to allow me to make this even better for yourselves. Streaming will be coming. I'm not going to say when, but we're working our way up to it. All right. So thank you for being here once again. And I'll see you next time on Sketch a Day. Bye bye now.